Hi, I'm Matt Hernandez, and welcome to Let's Chat Books. Today we're looking at a short story from Carol Shields' Collected Stories. This collection makes up 3 volumes: Various Miracles, The Orange Fish, and Dressing Up for the Carnival. Though the short story that we'll be looking at today, Segue is before those 3 other collections. I believe that this collected stories, that this collection came out after the passing of Carol Shields. And yeah, it's kind of telling looking at Segue. Segue is about a poet. She writes sonnets. Her name is Jane Sexton, and she lives with her husband, Max Sexton. He is a novelist. So there's not much of a plot going on in this story, and I actually find it to be very beautiful because if I just want something to read, something to relax with, something to just decompress, then maybe something like this story is what I would enjoy. I mean, it's not that the story isn't. That, I mean, there's a plot running through it. There's a passage of time. Jane Sexton is in her later years, and she just spends the days just working on her poetry. She is part of a sonnet organization, and just the time she spends with her husband. And I think quite a bit of this is quite beautiful. Now, as I've read this story several times to make this video, and as I re-record this video days after the first time I had recorded this, what I noticed the last time I was reading this out loud was, as I read part of it aloud, there is a bit of melancholy running through this video that I had not noticed just reading it in my head. So is it just aging gracefully, or perhaps is there a bit of melancholy to it about, maybe we don't really just a bit of sadness through it, our creaking bones. And if you can ask a person who's over 60 years old when it's going to rain, because they could just feel it in their arthritis and all those things that come with that, maybe even after I go to a judo class or something like that, maybe my knee just sort of aches for a while, whereas maybe that wouldn't have happened 10 years ago. I mean, I'm nowhere near the age of this character, but nevertheless, maybe I can feel a few, just a tiny bit of some of these things in my own life, in my own bones even. So, to try a new format, even though, my videos have gotten basically 0 views, I'm going to try to show the pages here on my left-hand side in a better format as I'm learning to edit a little bit. So let me find some of the parts in Segue that I had thought were notable and read them out loud to you. Here on page 8. So page 8, and there are 2 different printed volumes of this Carol Shields collected stories. One of them being, well, this, silver version. Segue page 8. Somewhere, someday, probably soon, a scholar will write a comparative thesis on pre and post World Trade Center literature. I can imagine her or him, an intrepid young person in her early, awkward 20s, Columbia or else Yale, her hair flattened by neglect, her body unbalanced by bad posture and fad diets, perpetually in a state of flinching, just slightly overwrought by her male supervisor, or the other way around, but determined nevertheless to identify the fulcrum that she knows by instinct separates the now world, which has seen the end of Fortress America, and the notion of giving thanks from the olden days separates real terrorism from the old excuses of vengeance striking back when power is denied. You know, it didn't strike me so much as so influential to the plot to have this paragraph in, but when this book would have been published, 2003, and it says introduction by Margaret Atwood, 2004, that um, that how right she was, and Though though maybe some of these feelings would have faded, people of my generation could definitely feel something, or the generation before mine could definitely feel something post and pre 9/11. I have some of these Norton anthologies behind me from college, and as they're divided by different eras, um, I definitely imagine we would have a certain era for pre and post 9/11. So maybe there would be one era of post modernity, and then the post 9/11 era, and whatever cynicism and everything that has to come with it. Okay, another one. On this edition, this is page 13. My aging body is me too, as well as the subject of my current sonnet. Only 2 years ago, the idea of aging belonged to the whole world. It was background. I hadn't been touched by it then. Now I am. Because I am tall and thin, I'm conscious of my bones, especially my hips, which are so shallowly buried, and also conscious of their curvature and sharpness. Often I feel like a walking ossuary. Shouldn't the exercise of staring at my body involve a little veneration? Well, yes. My knuckles have grown elaborate and curious, white and blue knobs in a setting of stringy flesh. I've learned to curl my hands in my lap, one inside the other, so that no one can see the wonder of their structure. No one but me. This paragraph really does stick out to me. I mean, um, I I've recently turned 37, and I do think about my age. Somehow having now two children and my age hit me pretty hard in a way that I was not so cognizant of before that. Am I now late 30s? If I'm now late 30s, does that mean I'm middle aged? If I'm middle aged, what does that mean for the rest of my life? So parts of this does kind of hit me, and especially in this paragraph. I mean, this is throughout the whole thing, but I feel like quite strongly in this paragraph. Hey, here, page 15, another part that had stuck out to me. Congratulations, I said to Victor Glantz today as I handed over the gavel and welcomed him to the head of the table, where I always sit. For the next 3 years, he will take charge of the society meetings and newsletters, and after that, he may earn himself another term. I presented him with an African violet, which I saw as symbolically useful, although I'm not sure the others understood the subtleties. African violets must be watered from the bottom, not the top. And this, I believe, is analogous to the writing of sonnets in the 21st century. This tells me that maybe Carol Shields, and it can be improper at times to put too much of the author into their own work, because I mean, if I was watching one video recently, a person said, "Oh, I don't like this person because they're racist." I don't know. I'm not familiar with the author and all that stuff, but I mean, I wonder how much of that Carol Shields put into it. My style of trying to make these videos is also to say what can I put into it in the stories as well to draw context. I mean, I've been part of quite a few clubs, organizations in college, a little bit thereafter, and even plenty of these English corners in town. And what I could say is, I could say that you might be part of a small club that means nothing to over 8 billion people on Earth, but it means a lot to you and to those who join, to those who go, and it means the world to them. And, you take these little things seriously. Okay, the last one, spanning from the bottom of page 18 to page 19. It is my aging body I want to write about, this oiled goat skin I live inside of. The body that rises now a little creakily, though I attempt to disguise this lack of limberness with an effort of will, I lean over from the waist as smartly as I can, as though a witness were standing next to me, taking notes, and check the chicken in the oven, a pair of baking potatoes darkening in their hides. Max is reading the newspaper. I hear him turning over the pages in the living room and think how he has deprived himself all day of this pleasure. He's always been strict about the avoidance of newspaper early in the day. He's like a Puritan in that way, First, he must perform his daily task getting down onto hard disk or paper his 500 words, which tomorrow he may or may not delete. In 10 minutes, we will sit down at the dinner table, just the two of us. Are we to share the future or no? I've never made a fuss of such things. Why would I begin now? Next paragraph. Oh, these dual dinners. They've grown so hard for us. We'll be talking about the Middle East tonight, the two of us, or else the obscenity of CEO salaries in America. We already know each other's views on these subjects. We speak in order to keep the silence away. It's as if though we reheat these issues and are and it goes on a bit. I don't know. I personally might like some little routines like this. Maybe she's viewed them as quite trite and you know, that they've lost their beauty, that they've lost whatever it's had at some point to enjoy one's routines. I I think I'd enjoy it. There's been parts of my life that maybe I've neglected, maybe certain things about my future or something like that while living here. Just relaxed, so relaxed for such a long time. Now I have quite a few stresses, worrying about the future and stuff like this. But for Jane Sexton, how much worrying for the future might there be? Just, I don't know. As it says, I've never made a fuss of such things. Why would I now? Are we to share the future or no? Well, whatever future they have left, which, if they're saying that they're in their retirement years or so like this, that they do the things they do because they want to do them. I imagine their mortgage is paid off and all those kinds of things. Well, I've given you guys quite a few thoughts on this here. I'm going to try to edit this together and try to show here the book pages here on my left-hand side, I believe your right-hand side. And, it's going to take some practice and stuff like that. Even just now, I'm re-recording this video, and I'm trying to be a little bit faster about it. So that way, yeah, but I've given quite a few thoughts, and I want to know what you think. I want to speak in a style of making these videos that is me having a conversation with you, not only my thoughts. Maybe some books, some readings, some essays, some stories will provide that better than others, than other stories. But I think that this story, for instance, is a pretty good one that we could have a lively discussion together. Thank you and have a wonderful day. Bye.